we have Jay Brown.
Hi Jay, welcome to the Something Different show.
Thank you very much.
We love all sorts of weird. This is a weird show. It's odd. So you're not necessarily a performer, like a stage performer. Your art is visual art.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, you still get an interview, and you're still interesting. And I think that this community is awesome because we do a show like this and have puppets and artists and just anyone we want can come out of an interview because they're interesting.
They're all artists.
So let's get to know Mr. Jay Brown here.
Right.
I know Jay from Jacoby's Storehouse because that's where your gallery is, and my store was there for a while, so we got to know each other during Armageddon. It was just us. There was no customers. So
I call it the pandy. The pandy. It's soft and sweet.
It was the plane.
yeah.
Yeah, the pandy play.
So you've got an extensive history. I asked you for your bio and you gave me like your curriculum vitae.
Well, I'm
Like,
76, so
Okay.
you
You earned it.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's just back up to, a political subject. Let's just start there because, you were in that, you're a veteran
Yes, I am.
of that crazy political war that shouldn't have happened, or did you come back and protested, or
None of
did you
them.
protest before, or,
Well,
you were in the Navy.
I was.
Okay, so you're a pirate.
I'm pirate,
Cool.
yes.
Privateer.
But that,
But I mean,
policeman at the same time, too.
and a policeman.
Yes.
Okay, pirate. Roll with it. Well, but I mean, you made it. You're still here, so
Yes.
that's nice. But I mean, it's like, tell us what it was like. We don't know. All wars are fought online now with like fidget spinners.
Oh, yes. No. Well, it was, I joined the Navy in order to avoid going into the Army, essentially. And that was, obviously enjoyed being out at sea. Also, the fact that I was number 23 for draft call-up, that had a lot to do with it as well, since I think we got all the way through 110. So, and that would have been going into the Army. So that and the fact that I had already spent 12 years in school, I wasn't doing very well at junior college. Among other things, my mother, who was raising both my brother and I, didn't need me hanging out there during that period of time, so I decided it'd be better for all if I joined. This is in 1965, and the war hadn't really caught on at that point. Tet was in the future and all the big offensives and stuff. So I joined the Navy and went through boot camp and went into got picked to go to electronics school, sonar. So I became a sonar technician. Yes. And you wait for a return. Yeah, yes. Then you've got to.
What have you heard the bloop?
I heard the blue.
All right.
I used to talk to we had a phone that you could actually, your voice would go through the water and you could actually communicate with submarines that way. But it was a regular, you didn't have to use code or anything, just talk to it. I used to talk to the whales that would come along. And, that's exactly right. And the captain caught me doing that one time, so I had to perform for everyone. The first ship I was on was a destroyer, and it was pretty much, we followed aircraft carriers around a lot, tried to pick up pilots if they made a mistake. And then we loaded an awful lot of ammunition, so passed that around quite a bit. So the second ship I was on was a minesweeper, it was very small. It was a wooden ship. I actually went across the Pacific Ocean in a wooden ship.
More piratey though.
And much more piratey. But the neat thing about it was that the captain was a young man. You didn't have to. You had an easier time relating to somebody like that. It was a very family kind of thing. On the destroyer we would go to places like entirely too much time in Subic Bay and the Philippines, actually. And that was pretty much it seems to sailors that the whole world looks the same, and that's because they're in a bar and they're all, oh, this is Tijuana, they just move it to Olongapo, and there it is in the Philippines. Even, and it's upmarket there in Hong Kong, just a higher price point. The girls there would say, I love you, no shit, buy me drink. There we go. Love you, no shit, buy me Honda. But, so that was an interesting time. And the reason I stayed, in the Navy, you had a lot of people, the pilots hated the war. It was just, there was nothing they could do. They couldn't prosecute the war. They had to only go to a certain line, and that line would change all the time. And they were losing their friends, and it wasn't popular among a lot of people. But getting back to the United States, though, was a real problem because there I was in all my friends, all my peers were all hippies, so they, I had short hair and I was I thought I was a narc. And on the other hand, all the conservatives thought we were losing the war, and so they didn't like it. So I just let the whole thing wash over, really. I got the GI Bill, and I thought it would be poetic justice if the Navy would make me an artist. So
it worked.
Yes, well, it did work. And I went back to junior college at Chabot and did that for 2 years, and then searched for a place to go get my degree, and came up to Humboldt State. Didn't have to go anywhere else. It was just that, the art department was really, really jumping. This was in 1969, and that was a really interesting time. Well, I got up here in 71 was, when I got to Humboldt, and then.
And since then, you've been a professional artist regionally.
Yeah, what I did was commercially. Actually, it was I started Bug Press. If anybody knows, familiar with that. And we started that in the print lab of the university, and then we graduated, and they kicked us out.
So you started a business.
Yes, that was, and when we moved into my one partner's garage up on California Street, and things are really jumping. Yeah, Jambalaya was one of our biggest customers, and that was an institute. Courted my wife there. We had a poet meeting. There was some really great stuff going on during that period. And when we were sailing.
This is printing posters and handbills and stuff.
Well, a hell of a lot of T-shirts. We were doing screen printing. Entirely too many of those. But the neatest things we did were we did a monthly poster for Jambalaya. Different artists would bring in designs, and we would print that, and we would have to have a calendar on it. And did lots of those. That was the neat thing. We kind of thought of ourselves as fine art in the team game. A fine art print shop where we would do people's editions of their art. But we did a couple of those. That was a lot of fun, and kind of felt real good about that. But we were going straight downhill. There was a recession going on, and and basically our product was paper and petroleum. And the price of all that was going straight up. So we were just about to cash it in. We picked up two partners. One was Jim Test, who was gone on he passed away just recently. He became mayor of Arcata and was an incredibly good businessman, and just pulled us up by our shoestrings out of to do pretty well. And the business still exists now. Yeah. I sold out to Robert Arena, who runs it now. And that was in I wanted to go back and get my master's degree in art, and I'm trying to work a scam where I could go back to Humboldt and do it was theater department too, a little bit of stuff there. And that wasn't working either. And then the job of being a graphic designer for the university came up, and I applied and got that job. And then worked there for 26 years.
And so now you've landed at the Jacoby Storehouse.
Yeah, I live off a pension, so I don't have to do art in order to feed myself, and that's extremely liberating.
So that's why you're in the Navy.
Yeah. Well, no, that was a good reason. I didn't know that. But yeah, good.
One of the special things that you do at the Jacoby Storehouse is fix all the things around there, like the chairs, but you also put up the Christmas tree and the one that's on the roof.
Oh, yeah, it's weird. I mean, essentially pay the rent by being the handyman for the building. And that entirely too much plumbing, but other than that, it's, there's some interesting things. The designing I get to do, I like to consider myself an industrial designer to an extent. And, doing things like setting up the flagpole in order we could run the tree up there. COVID was an interesting time too. Were you gonna ask me that?
Sure, there's the
We'll probably
plague.
get to that.
There's the plague.
Yeah, it comes right along, doesn't it? Yeah. We all had to go through that, didn't we? But it was good for me, actually. It was, I could just be in my studio and do more art. But one of the nice things that happened was that Bill Chino, who owns the building, got a stipend to keep all the people who were working as cooks and waitresses and waiters and stuff to give them some money to come in and work on the building. And we went through that entire building. The Plaza Grill now is just as immaculate as you can be. A lot of people cleaning it all up. Everything got. And one thing I got to do was move the track lighting closer to the wall so it would light up the artwork better.
Works for your sales. Well, on your extensive curriculum vita, it says somewhere that you've done over 150 gallery shows.
Oh,
hopefully.
yeah. It's,
So what? And you have the one that you work out of at Jacoby Storehouse. But what? Can you tell us about some of your upcoming gallery shows, or
Sure.
where we can see your art?
I belong to the Redwood Art Association, which has a gallery in Eureka, and I've done several shows there. And they also are responsible for putting artwork up in the airport, and that's a really great show there. We had a big heist where this fellow came in and stole 20 pieces of art. He came in one day and he with a clipboard. You can get away with a lot of stuff if you have a clipboard. I learned that in the military. But, and he came in and he was writing things down, and the show had been up there since June. It goes only 1 year. You have to leave all your artwork there for a year, and it becomes part of the furniture. Nobody thinks about it anymore. And this guy's in there writing numbers down, and he told the people that were the powers that be there that he was that weren't there that he was just thinking about buying them. He was taking down silence. The next day, he came in with a van and got one of the employees to help him load 40 pieces of art into the van.
Was it TSA?
And one of mine went in with that. And so I get a call from the fellow who's the docent and the curator of that show. And he said, yeah, well, 20 pieces of art got stolen. And I got a call from this woman who says, well, I'm his caretaker. The guy was a crazy man.
Oh.
And he was bragging to her that he has 20 pieces of art that he got at the airport in his van. So not a thing was damaged. They all did a great job stealing the art, putting it in the van and taking it away. And so they decided not to press charges. My office my studio is right across from the Union office, the Arcata Union. And I become pretty good friends with Jack, who runs the thing. And I told him, I said, maybe I should be telling. He goes, that's a great story. But I said, well, you can't run it till I find out if you can run it, But they wanted to just downplay it. Supposedly this guy was a Eureka businessman, a successful person. I have no idea who it was. I don't think I'll ask. And since everything came out good, no harm, no foul. And that was the end of that story. That was
sound that crazy.
Fortunate.
Well, you brought a piece of art
Yes,
here
I did. I
to
have
show
a
us
piece of art
here.
here.
Yeah!
Fantastic artwork here.
I was working, I do abstract work, I do landscape, I do a whole variety of stuff. I have no direct product. But I was doing this abstract.
What line?
Abstract. And it reminded me of Shay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Let me see.
I see it.
Yeah, you can see,
It's like he's looking in a mirror.
there's a duck right here, his duck love and tennis friends. And I called it Jay doing his nails.
Shaky.
So I brought a present for you.
Oh, no,
Yeah. First, it's a nail,
yes,
but you also have you have another gallery show
Yeah.
about hammers.
that's right, I have a show at, All Quick Lumber, appropriate place for a show of hammers. I just got to see, being the handyman there, I use them a lot, I have a real love of tools, so, they're realistic drawings of hammers, there it is.
So this is one of the
That's
personal
pretty good
ones,
drawing.
slightly used. And it's got to be your present here for being a guest on the show. But I want to do this is what he's illustrating, Shay and his nails, right? So this is a nail,
I'm gonna look
solid
that
nail, solid hammer. This has got to be a piece of art at some point. But this is driving a nail into my nose. It's got to look just like
No.
a painting.
Don't
Oh,
do it.
no.
Yeah! Don't do it.
No, Jay, I need your help.
No.
Just go like this.
No.
So here's your hammer.
No, thank you, no, I don't want the nail.
There you go.
Oh, yeah,
The show's coming up in the Plaza Grill, there's a fellow named Sanford is going to be doing some plein air stuff there. It's really a nice show. I'll be taking my stuff down, but I'll be packing it all into my studio in some way. So come by for Arts Arcada, or come by anytime. If I'm not up doing plumbing somewhere, I'll be in the studio. So thank you very much.
What assemblage?
Here.
Oh, thank you. Looks just like me. Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome.
One more round of applause for Jay Brown.